G'day mate, today I have a ripper in store for you. Today I'll be showing you my Abigail deck. Today, this is my Dark Burial deck. I'll show you my Abigail some other day. So let's get on with the deck profile. First we start off with four Abigail Reebies. This is your this is your basically your main draw power or your mill. So yeah, you basically pay 2 life, then you destroy a black dragon on your field, and if you do, you draw a card, then put three cards on the top of your opponent's deck to the drop zone. You play this in Abigail too. Then next we play the UBO6 Abigail, which is the Dark Bear Executor Abigail. I fortunately have the English one right here. So basically this thing has Shadow Dive. If you have 3 or more Dark Barrels set on the field, this card's attack cannot be nullified if it's reduced if it's attacking alone. Then at the start of your attack phase, if there's a Dark Burial set on your field, you may call this card from the drop zone without paying its call cost. Unfortunately, this guy is a size 3, so you can't spam 2 of these on the field. So therefore, we are only playing 2 of the Executor Abigails. Next, we play the everybody most hated card in Abigail, the Light Ray Black Death Dragon Abigail. This is in combo together with the Abigail Reebie. This is basically your your Miller again. This is when this card is destroyed, drop the top 3 cards of your opponent's deck, and if there's a monster among them, draw a card. So basically, it's pretty similar to your Abigail Reebie, but you need a monster is required to draw a card, and it has Soul Guard, so you can destroy this card on the field twice. So we play 4 of the Light Ray Abigails. Next, we play 2 copies of Davos Aura, the UBO6 version. This is basically your Black Dragon Searcher item for your item or your set. This card is used in both Abigail and Dark Burial, so feel free to manipulate the amount of Davos if you want to run in your deck. So basically, this is when this card enters the field, you may destroy another Black Dragon, and you may search up for an item or a set. A pretty basic searcher for your Black Dragons. So we play 2 of Davos. Next, we play only just 1 copy of Vidor Nov. When this card enters the field, you may destroy another Black Dragon on your field, and you may put up to 1 Black Dragon impact, in which case it's in your searcher to your Last Symphony Epilogue, which is your Dark Burial set. You can also use this as a combo to your Death Count Requiem or any other Black Dragon set spells that you, or any like Black Dragon impact that you wish to do, because as you know, you can also use to search out for the Abigail Howlbringer, which is used in Abigail. So we only play 1 copy of Vidor Nov. Then moving on, we play 1 copy of Gloomy Black Dragon Snake Balsam. When this card enters the field, you may destroy a Black Dragon. If you do, charge and draw. Pretty basic Black Dragon also, so we only play 1 copy of Balsam. Next, going on to the spells, we play 3 copies of For the Future. This is your Gauge Searcher, as similar to Dragonic Exchange. You pay 1 life, you put top 2 cards of your deck into your Gauge, and if you have a Jackknife or an Abigail, you may reveal up to 1 card of that and put it into your hand. However, if you don't have one, you may put only a monster from among them into your hand. So we play 3 copies because this deck is mostly based up on the search of Abigail. So we play 3 copies of For the Future. Next, we play 3 copies of Black Ritual. This is your main draw spell for Black Dragons. Destroy a Black Dragon, charge 1 gauge, gain 1 life, and draw 2 cards. You may only cast Black Ritual once per turn. So we play 3 copies of Black Ritual in this deck. Next, we play your Searcher, Light of Destiny. We play 3 of it. This is your Abigail Searcher or Gale Searcher. You may use this card in Cursed Dragons too, but unfortunately I've already sold my Cursed Dragons, so that's a long gone story. So basically, this is your Abigail Searcher. You charge 1 and you put a Abigail, a size 2, a critical of 2 or less of Abigail or Gale from your card name into the deck. From the deck into your hand, and you may only use Light of Destiny once per turn. So we play 3 copies of Light of Destiny. Next, we play your defense spell, Decide Destiny. This is your defense spell for the Dark Burial deck. So basically, this is basically you pay 2 life. You may choose one of the following 3. The first one is choose up to 1 card in your opponent's field for each different black dragon set and you rest them. The second one is you may choose 1 card for each black dragon set on your field and you destroy them. Then the third one is you choose up to 1 card in your opponent's field and minus the critical by 3. So you can play 3 copies of Decide Destiny. You could try to play 4, but I'd rather play 3 instead. So Decide Destiny, we play 3 off. Next, we play just one Lifeless Hunting Ground. This is technically a troll spell in this deck. So this is during the battle on your monster that a monster on your field attacks a monster alone, your opponent cannot counter. This is supposed to be in the Spectral Strike deck together with the Death Gaze. So yeah, but you can also play this in terms with Abigail. So it's a really strong card. There's a combo with this card that you could do with a brand new re-S spell that came out pretty recently actually, and which is this. It's called Death Astray re-S. So I'll get on to more the reason what this card does in a moment. But when a monster enters the opponent's field by card effects, you don't have to really use the second ability, but we're only mainly focusing on the first ability, which is the cannot counter. So we only play 1 of Lifeless Hunting Ground. Next, we only play 1 copy of a Execution Ground. This is another one of the one-off set spells. So when a soul goes inside your black dragon, you put the top card of the deck into your gauge and draw 1 card. And this ability only activates once per turn. And when a black dragon set is destroyed by opponent's card's effect, you deal 4 damage to the opponent. So we only play 1 of Execution Ground. Next, we also play 1 of Removal Voice. This is your drop zone caller for your black dragons. You pay 1 gauge and you call a size 1 or less black dragon for monster from your drop zone by paying its call cost. A pretty basic call from drop zone spell. So we only play 1 off. Next, moving on to the Dark Burial set spells, we play 3 copies of First Symphony's Prologue. This is your this is one of the 2 main Dark Burial set spells. So all Dark Burial, so the ability of this is all Dark Burial cannot be destroyed or returned to the hand by opponent's card's effect. And when you set, if there's another black dragon on your field, you gain 2 life. And if there's an impact on your field, aka your Last Symphony Epilogue, all cards on your opponent's field get minus power 3k and defense plus power minus 3k and defense minus 3k. So we play 3 of First Symphony Prologue. Next, moving on to the Second Symphony. It's called Second Symphony Shurzo. This is your second main Dark Burial set spell too, and the ability of this is all ability of Black Dragon cannot be nullified on the opponent's field by card's effects. And when this card is set, if another Dark Burial in your field, you just draw 1 card. Then if an impact is set on your field, your opponent cannot gain life. This is another one of your main Dark Burial set spells, so I recommend you to play 4. So what I recommend you to take out is one of the cards that I'm going to show you sooner or later in this deck. But for now, if you want to play 3 is a good choice too. So we play 3 copies of Second Symphony Shurzo. Next, we play 3 copies of Black Regalo. This is your gauge earner and your life earner. Basically, destroy a black dragon, put the top 3 cards in your deck into your gauge, then if you have a black dragon set on your field, you gain 3 life. And it's not once per turn. Therefore, we play 3 of Black Regalo. A really strong card. Next, this is the optional card that you could remove for the Second Symphony, and it is Void Slasher. This is another optional card where you could play. It's basically if you have 5 or more cards in your opponent's drop zone in combo together with the Abigail Reby and the Light Ray, you get more cards in your opponent's drop zone. Pay 1 gauge, you deal 1 damage to your opponent, and if there are 10 or more cards in your drop zone, deal 3 damage to your opponent instead. And I'll get on to why the 3 damage is quite crucial to this deck real soon. So you play 1 copy of Void Slasher. Now moving on to the re-S spells, we play 3 copies of Death Astray re-S. This is in combo together with the Lifeless Hunting Ground, or you can use it for other abilities too, but in turn you can use this for the combo with the Lifeless Hunting Ground, in which there when a card on your opponent's field is destroyed, you do 2 damage to your opponent, which means when your Abigail attacks your opponent's monsters, they cannot counter, and in return they will take 2 effect damage from the Death Astray VS. Or you could use the all cards can attack your opponent if there is a monster in the center, but I don't really find a much use for that, as the UBO6 Abigail would already shadow dive your opponent. So we can play 3 copies of Death Astray VS, and it's also a draw 1, mill 5, and a charge 2 to your gauge. So we play 3 copies of Death Astray VS. Next, we play 3 copies of Midnight Shadow VS. This is your Anti-FDK spell or your bomb and drop hand. So basically, this card is just destroy up to 1 card on the field. It can be either your field or your opponent's field. You can choose, and your opponent chooses and drop a hand. A really strong spell, and it's a Anti-FDK spell, which means it's the next damage you take from attack becomes 0, and the next effect damage you take becomes 0. So we play 3 copies of Midnight Shadow VS. Next, we play 2 copies of Curse Ritual VS. This is your another one of those drop zone callers. You destroy a monster on your field, and you call up to 2 Darkness Dragon or Execution monsters from your different sizes from your drop zone by paying its call cost, or destroy up to 3 cards on the opponent's field. But I recommend you to use the first and second skill. The first skill is charge 2, gain 2, and draw 1, and the second one is to counter call. So we play only 2 copies of Curse Ritual VS. Next, moving on to the only item in the deck, which is Dual Abygale Scissors. We only play 1, but you could try to play 2. It's completely up to you, but for me, I only play 1. Put up to 2 Black Dragon or Dark Barrel in total from your drop zone to it, so pay 2 gauge, and this card cannot even attack if you have a monster in your center. All Dark Barrel cannot be destroyed. All Dark Barrel monsters cannot be destroyed or returned to the hand by opponent's card's effect, and if at the end of the turn, if a Dark Barrel impact is sent out of your field, you gain 5 life, triple attack, and Soul Guard. A pretty basic Darkness Dragon World item. And moving on to the last 2 cards in the deck, which is your main card of the deck, Last Symphony Epilogue. This is basically your game ender right here. You pay 2 life. All Dark Barrel on the field cannot be rested by your opponent's card's effect at the start of each player's turn. If your opponent's 5 life, if your opponent has 4 life or more, if you have 3 or more different Dark Barrels set on the field, your opponent's life becomes 3 in turn, together with the first Symphony and the second Symphony Prologue and Scherzo. So yeah, this is basically your if your game ender, when your opponent's life becomes 3, you could use the 1 card in turn where I said you could use Void Slasher to just pay 1 gauge and deal 3 damage to your opponent, which in case forces out a Grace of the Sun Deity or any sort of damage reduction spell. So in combo, it will catch your opponent off guard, but only once, unfortunately. But if you want to take this out in return for another one of Second Symphony Scherzo, it is a pretty good option too, as it is a draw 1. So that concludes my deck profile for the Dark Burial. I'm pretty sure this is the only Dark Burial deck profile that is like currently up on this platform. So if there's any like comments on how to improve this, do let me know. So yeah, and bye.